my last episode, someone said to me, well, you can't tell people your dreams. Everybody doesn't want good for you. And then people be copying and whoop-de-woo and all the things. And here's the thing, people. The advice sounds wise. And I get where it's coming from. Even for me, when I look at my family, there are some of the elders and my family still believe in don't tell people your business. Okay? It sounds protective. It sounds like the kind of thing that people say when they've been disappointed before, or you learn the hard way not to share too soon, or maybe something happened to a friend or someone you follow on social media. And so you begin to embrace this belief of, I have to move in silence. I can't tell people things. And here's the thing, more often than not, that belief is rooted in you trying to manage the fear. It's rooted in the fear of being judged, the fear of being disappointed, the fear of being seen before things are fully fleshed out, formed, or perfected. And this is where I want us to just slow down for a moment and process some things. Because I've seen this belief play out in so many different workshops that I facilitated or one-to-one coaching sessions. So last year, I was in this group coaching session with a group of nonprofit leaders, and one woman shared that asking for help was a real struggle for her. And instead of giving her tips or strategies, I asked her a different question. What's the belief you've attached to asking for help? What does it mean about you if you do? Because I can give you the best advice in the world, but if you're still loyal to the story you're telling yourself, none of it is going to matter. People will often say, I don't know how to ask for help. And the truth is, people who say they don't know how to ask for help usually know exactly how to ask. They just don't like the story attached to it. You don't struggle to ask for help. You struggle with what you think asking for help says about you. And let me be clear. For a lot of us, I'm going to keep it totally 100 with you. Those stories didn't start at that workplace. They were passed down to you. Many of us were raised to believe that asking for help meant you're weak, you're unprepared, or you're just not smart enough, that you're going to look stupid or foolish. And for some of us, especially for those of us who grew up believing, oh, you got to work twice as hard just to be seen as good as everyone else, asking for help can feel a little risky, like you're confirming a fear you've been trying to outrun. So when you think about working twice as hard just to be seen as good, you isolate yourself. You overwork yourself into burnout and overwhelm. You stay stuck longer than necessary. You work harder instead of working smarter. Ask me how I know, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So instead of asking for help, instead of letting people in, we move in silence. And while I understand that fear, it can quietly limit your growth or limit the opportunities if you allow it to drive your daily decisions. Because here's what I know for sure. A vision that lives only in your head or even on paper is fragile. But seeds of that vision, I should say, that lives in relationships, it has leverage. When I think of some of the accomplishments, the things that I have been able to do within my career, from speaking at Harvard Business School, South by Southwest Conference, I've had speaking opportunities in Nairobi, Kenya. I've had speaking opportunities across the United States. The reality is those opportunities came because of other people. I say this all of the time when I'm working with leaders. If only one person can do what they do, the organization is vulnerable. Because if one person goes down, everything slows down or everything stops. If everything depends on this one person's energy, skill set, availability, confidence, capacity, their know-how, when that person goes down or goes away, it is a disruption. Everything slows down. It shifts. So the vision becomes vulnerable to burnout, stopping, momentum, the moment you need rest. And the same thing applies to your vision. If your vision only lives with you, it's carrying all the weight alone. But when your vision lives in other people through conversations, shared interests or understanding, trusted relationships, it becomes more resilient. And when I say resilient, I'm talking about the ability to stay steady when things don't go as planned, the ability to bounce back. Last year, or even over the last few years, is a perfect example. Business did not turn out the way I planned it to. On paper, it was not the year I imagined. But the reason why I was able, and I am able to keep moving, to keep momentum, to stay grounded was because of my relationships. Those relationships gave me perspective when I couldn't see clearly. They gave me encouragement when my commitment dipped. They gave me access, ideas, and opportunities I would not have created on my own. And so sharing your vision gives it room to grow beyond your capacity and availability at times. Now, let me be clear, because this is where most people misunderstand me. I'm not saying you should tell everybody your business. This isn't about oversharing or broadcasting your plans to people who haven't earned the access to you. This is about intentional visibility. Because what I've learned is sometimes what we often call, oh, I'm moving in silence, is actually avoidance. Avoidance of discomfort, avoidance of vulnerability, avoidance of being seen, not having figured it all out. Avoidance rooted in stories we learned a long time ago about what asking for help means. And so when we talk about becoming a different version of ourselves that's required to reach our vision, that absolutely requires asking better questions. Not why am I like this, but is this belief about asking for help bringing me closer to the life and the vision that I desire, or quietly keeping me away from where I am? And here's a real truth bomb for you. Discomfort around sharing your vision or developing relationships is often the price of admission for the growth that you say you want. That's the price of admission for the vision that you say that you have. Growth requires a few uncomfortable things. It asks us to be visible, to be honest about what we're building before it's fully fleshed out. And I'm calling myself to the front of the congregation here. Because even now, I have a vision to create a series of in-the-moment reset tools for leaders at work when they need them most, in difficult conversations, when dealing with resistance at work. And so I had to share this vision. I'm a part of this accelerator program sponsored by Marshalls, shout out to Marshalls, and the Luminary. And so I had to share part of this vision. It's not fully fleshed out. I haven't even identified the tools and all the things, but I had to share this vision in order to be chosen as one of 40 women who will not only get the access to people who are founders and builders of new things and new experiences, but they also awarded us with a grant to fund our vision. And so I say all of that to say, you got to let people in. The doors that open for me are because of not only my alignment, but taking a chance on trust, taking a chance on relationships. The reality is those opportunities most often are built in relationships, not in silence. And so it's worth asking yourself, what do I need to be very intentional about when it comes to building relationships this year? So one habit that I have in practice is my follow-up Friday habit. If you've been around the Candid Conversations podcast for a while, you know I'm a firm believer in follow-up Friday. Follow-up Friday is when you follow up with your people and your processes. I have a 20-minute standing reminder on my calendar to follow up, not only with existing relationships, but also to possibly form some new connections. Now, sometimes I don't do it every Friday. Sometimes life is life and then you don't have the time and this, that, and third. But it is a standing appointment on my calendar. Sometimes I'm asking myself, Candida, where you need to fire yourself on that follow-up Friday. Because if I got processes and all these things sitting on my calendar and I'm not doing it, it's an opportunity for me to fire myself and get somebody else to do it. But anyhow, when you move in silence, it's not actually protecting your vision. More often than not, it isolates it. And that isolation is slowing your momentum down. And so your vision needs the right carriers. It needs the right people. I heard Lovey Ajayi say one time, I think a prayer or something that she does. Now, she's a New York Times bestselling author. But anyhow, I heard her say one time that I think a prayer or something that she has is, God, send me my helpers. And so when I think about those helpers, those carriers, they are people who can speak your name in rooms you're not in, people who can challenge your blind spots, people who can help accelerate what you're trying to build. Bottom line is, stop confusing silence with strategy. Stop calling fear privacy and shrinking your vision in the name of, oh, I'm protecting it. Unlearn that today, party people. Quick episode, but I needed to respond to that person who thinks that you got to move in silence. We're not doing that in 2026 and beyond. If this episode hit home for you today, I want you to do 3 things. Follow the show so you never miss an episode. Leave a review because it helps more people like you find me. And lastly, share this episode with someone who needs it today. You know, when you was listening to this episode, you probably thought, oh, such and such, she need to hear this. Share that with her or him. You already know who came to mind.